Does it feel like your money and retirement is in danger? With prices still elevated, high interest rates, and the mounting national debt, the present and future purchasing power and cost of living of everyday Americans is more and more uncertain. All the while, central banks around the world are reducing their dollar reserves and buying gold in record amounts not seen in history. Are central banks sensing weakness in the dollar and counterparty risk by holding it in reserve? If the smart money that usually run the printing presses are stocking up on gold, it makes sense that the ordinary investor prepare as well. And how can investments in scarce assets like physical gold and digital decentralized technologies like Bitcoin be used to counterbalance this constant erosion of our purchasing power? If you think that you may be falling short of your retirement goals, see the link in the video description to the free inflation and retirement calculator to discuss why gold works, why fiat currencies ultimately fail, and why gold and other scarce assets act as an insurance policy against risk. We will hear from economist, White House advisor, and author Jim Rickards, author and economist at George Mason University, Lawrence H. White, and economist and investor Keith Weiner.
Something doesn't teleport from zero to ta-da, money without skipping. Why would anybody have wanted to hoard it in the first place before it was money? It had some other value. And we're making a value proposition and saying, look, you should consider owning gold for reasons X, Y, and Z. The reason X is, we're going to have a Mad Max end of the world. It's not a real attractive value proposition. I'll just leave that at that. Number two, nobody, and I say this often in my writing, be careful what you wish for. If gold's $20,000, let alone $100,000 an ounce, you may have a lot of nominal dollars, and even if those nominal dollars have the purchasing power you expect, which is probably not likely, you're not going to want to be in that world because, the peasants are going to be out there with the torches and the pitchforks. You know that 99 point, I don't know what it is, 7 would be my guess, percentage of Americans don't have any gold. So these people that suddenly, had been, prosperous are suddenly impoverished and very, very angry. You wouldn't really want to be in that mob with your Ferrari that you bought with the winnings on your gold because they'll just smash it and smash you and, that's it. So you're better off with gold than without. We should all be thinking about how do we avert this catastrophe rather than how to plan to, I'll put scare quotes around profit from this coming catastrophe.
I agree every time you said the Fed screwed up. Question is, can we rely on central banks to continuously improve over time? And I don't see a lot of evidence that we can. So after the dot-com bubble, the Fed kept interest rates too low for too long and thereby fueled, maybe not the only cause, but fueled the housing bubble. And then more recently, we've had 9% inflation, which shocked even me. I thought when it got to 5%, they would put their foot on the brakes, but it took a little longer than that before they really started to take it seriously. So some of the things I thought the Fed had learned, they don't seem to have learned in a very robust way. It's not a reliable system.
Financial war, which that is warfare. That is no different than dropping bombs or firing missiles at the enemy, except you're using financial weapons. And there are a lot of ways to do it. Sanctions, we kicked Iran out of the global payment system. They say we, meaning the United States. We're putting financial sanctions on Russia. Russia invades Ukraine. What we do is impose financial sanctions. That's an example of financial warfare. I do quite a bit of consulting for the U.S. government, the intelligence community, the Secretary of Defense, and others. And I've certainly spoken to the Treasury and the Fed and other agencies at different times. And people say, well, what keeps them up at night? What is the deepest fear? And I think most listeners are very familiar with cyber warfare and cyber threats. A lot of them had to do with taking control of critical infrastructure, combine cyber and financial. Go in, shut down the New York Stock Exchange, which is easy to do, or what's called distributed denial of service attacks, where you flood JP Morgan's online banking system with so much message traffic that it can't function and people can't get to their accounts. Those things are trivial. What's a lot more threatening is not that you would shut down a system, but that you would take over a system. You would get inside the order entry system of one of the stock exchanges and start spoofing orders. Sell Google, sell Apple, sell Tesla, sell this, sell that. And the brokers and the exchanges would know what was happening. They would treat them as legitimate orders, and you have all these sell orders. So you could do something like that. It wouldn't be that difficult. The FBI and Department of Homeland Security found a Russian attack virus inside the NASDAQ operating system in 2010. Nice job. They disabled it, but who knows how many other viruses are lurking in there. So that's one more reason to have gold. It's not digital. You can't hack it. You can't erase it. Other markets can go crazy, but your gold will preserve your wealth.
If you are concerned about your long-term wealth preservation, then the fiat dollar is clearly failing you. Gold is clearly on the rise and making historic highs. The 5,000-year history, gold is the one asset that has outlasted numerous business cycles, economic downturns, booms and busts, stock market bubbles, and the rise and fall of every currency. And unlike depreciating faith-based fiat currency, gold is no one's liability. Gold IRAs provide a tax-deferred means of building wealth, storing it securely, as well as protecting your retirement and purchasing power from counterparty risk. If you are ready to start your gold investing journey, see the links in the video description to the best gold IRA companies that we have personally reviewed and vetted. To attend a free gold education webinar held by Augusta Precious Metals, see the link in the video description. Thanks for watching.